And then TC will connect to our other platforms, I guess, when we get there. All right. So, hello everyone. Hello, hello. We are live, and this roundtable, this one roundtable, is something special for our community members. We're so excited to have you all here and making sure that you connect with myself and anyone who comes to these roundtables. I'm Allegra, the marketing medulla. Uh, okay, I don't know what happened to the destinations, but I want to make sure that we have this conversation on a roundtable. Before I do that, let me just double check and make sure it's gone live here. I don't want any technical issues before we do this. But I have Miss Ariana here, our co-founder. Whoop, whoop. I have Miss Ernest Cummings, our corporate partner, and man, we got some real big wins that we want to share with y'all today. And so while I'm checking all of the technicalities, sorry, y'all, I want to make sure that we get some introductions going. So let's just start with that. So let's start with you, Ariana. Let's introduce you first. The mic is all yours.
Well, what's today? Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Still good morning to everybody. My name is Coach Airy. I am the WIN co-founder and the Houston leader out here in Texas. And Texas is definitely as big as it seems, and so I have a lot of ground to cover. I am so excited to be in the roundtable and just be a part of this community. I've been here from the very inception of it all, and just to see how much we're growing, what we're doing, all the moves we're making, how it has really evolved is just such an amazing experience. I love being there when from the ground up. You learn so much, you gather so much, you see so much, and you have so much invested. So I'm excited. I love being a part of this community, and I can't wait for the conversation today. So you want me to pass it to Mr. Ernest? You want to take it back? There we go.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's Miss Ernest introduce herself as well while I check this.
Hey, good morning. I'm Ernest Cummings. I'm a corporate partner with W.I.N. As always, it's my pleasure and honor to be in the W.I.N spaces. Who am I? I am an entrepreneur. I am an expert government contracting / small business, how to do business with the federal government. I have a nonprofit, which is called Secret Miracles, Inc. And we inspire young people to prepare for college, do career planning, and also to become entrepreneurs. So that's who I am. And I just love mentoring. I love giving back. And I am just a powerhouse.
I love it so much, ladies. And listen, just forgive me here because like I said, I'm checking the technicals, but my name is Allegra Jackson, and I am the founder of this amazing community, Women into Networking. When I am also coined as a marketing medulla in my own business. I've been in business for well over 18 years now. So truly love what I do. Right? I don't believe that success comes one way. So create that for yourself. But what I focus a lot on are women entrepreneurs and making sure that we have successful business models that are sustainable so that we can do all the things that we want to do, like create that generational wealth and take our lives seriously, y'all, because business is not a joke and neither are you. So I want to make sure you have those sustainable business models through my programs and all the amazing things that I do. But I want to say something about community that really does inspire me so much here. I have been in community since, before Women into Networking. But when I was in community before, I was really looking for safe spaces, right? And when we talk about safe spaces, that could be taken different ways. For me, safe spaces means I don't have to be, you don't have to baby me, right? Like you don't have to, like I have capabilities, like I'm limitless. So I need to be motivated and believed in. I don't need to be babied. So that's not a safe space for me because then it makes me feel like I can kind of relax and be complacent. But for me, safe spaces is when I'm pushed, I'm driven, I'm motivated. But at the same time, when I need to vent, when I need to kind of like have those days, those bad days, that I have moments that I can feel comfortable sharing and being authentic. That's one of the things that I found in the WIN community that I thought was really, one of the quality measures. Some of the things that I also want to emphasize are just wins in general. Like when we win, every time we win, it doesn't matter if it's small or large, we talk about these wins. And we say that if you are not celebrating the small wins, then it's really even more difficult to celebrate the big ones, right? Because we're like, oh well, let's get there first, and it's like, no, the journey is where the magic happens, right? The everyday win, I won today and I did what I said I was going to do, or I did that one thing that I held off for over a week. Look, those are wins for me. So I'm going to continue checking this, y'all. I just wanted to do that introduction. I want to pass it around to the round table. Miss Ariana in the house, okay? And I want to ask you, Ari, what do you feel about what I said when it comes down to that? When it comes down to really like just being able to win in your business when it comes down to community. And we've had several conversations like this before, but we elevate. And so at this point of your elevation, what do you see when it comes down to community? How being attached to that has supported you in your wins, big and small.
Well, I think what you said is true. Like, it's not needing to be baby, but I think the thing that I love most that I feel like a lot of people do not value is accountability. People do not value accountability, but you have to understand having people to hold you accountable means a lot. And I feel like, as far as my success and how I've grown, it's been the accountability piece. Knowledge is great. How to do this, how to do that is great. But if you don't have sisters or brothers that surround you and they're holding you accountable, like, sis, where's this? Or where you at? Where you been? I don't see this. I don't. And a lot of people steer away from those spaces because they feel like they're being pressured or they feel like they're being pushed. But you need somebody to push you into your next. That's just the truth. Because if it was really up to us, we would get very comfortable. We would get lax. And God didn't create us to get comfortable. He created us to grow. We are all like seeds and trees. They continue to grow. If you remember, Jesus cursed the fig tree because it wasn't producing no fruit. So what the win community means to me is help me produce some fruit. Don't let me just sit there and you don't see you don't see me and don't ask where you at. You know what I mean? That's what the community has been to me. I don't want to be surrounded around people who don't push you, who don't look for you, who are not holding you accountable to your word. And so I think the evolution of me in the community and what I've grown so much from is that accountability piece and understanding that accountability is, man, you really can't put a good price on it, but I wish people would pay more for accountability because you would see more fruit on your tree. You would see your business thrive and flourish more. You would see your life if you would invest in accountability. And that's what the win community is for me. When people are like, we ain't seen Harry, I'm like, oh. And sometimes accountability don't feel good. Okay? I was just listen, y'all. Let's just take the hard pill. Sometimes accountability don't feel good. And when it doesn't feel good, you gotta ask yourself, why don't it feel good? Why do you feel bothered by that? Or why do you feel shamed? Or why do you feel attacked? Or whatever you may feel. You gotta ask yourself why. And usually it's because you're capable of more than that. You're better than that. You already know who you are, and having people to remind you who you are. I'm just saying, baby, listen, these are things that I feel like people do not value, but you wonder why you're not growing or you wonder why you're not seeing fruit. Well, the Bible says he prunes those he loves, which means he going to irritate you. So get around some people that agitate you into growth, that agitate you into producing some fruit. So that's what the win community is for me. That's what I get from community and collaboration and connection is accountability. And that has helped me to develop into the woman that I am today in my business, in my ventures.
Mm.
I'm loving every bit of that. So listen, gotta stop that for a second because that was powerful. And I don't want to elaborate too much. Let me hear from Miss Ernest first before we go. We just go around the table. Go ahead, Miss Ernest.
So for me, I agree with Ariana. You have to have accountability, and it flows into what I was going to say. For me, it's partnership. Partnership means accountability to me. If you have an amazing partnership with a group of people or even one person, I think the consolidated efforts, the same mindset, the same accountability, the same push, that you have one for another, because guess what? You all are seeking the same goal, which is increase in your abilities, increase in your finances, increase in who you are, so that others may see what you have to offer. Also, for me, when in the community, besides accountability and partnership, is you have to have trust. If people don't trust one another to lead them, then you have a problem. Everybody's not leaders, just like everybody's not a coach. I was sharing this the other day. We have so many coaches out here since COVID. My goodness, where's your credential? Where's your success stories? Where have you documented that what you're teaching folks out here is really, really what they need? I mean, everybody's a coach. I refuse to use the word coach. I was coming up with a title for my branding company. And one of my content people, she said, well, Miss Ernest, we could call you executive coach. I said, Coach used to mean knowledge, experience, strategy. Not coaches is everything. So when you have a win community, you have to have accountability, you have to have partnership, you have to have trust. And the final thing on that is you have to have a willingness to give and to receive. You can't always, like the preacher say, I can't always get up here and serve, serve, serve. Sometimes I got to receive because there's no one person that knows it all, ladies. There's no one person. We all are together in a partnership and we all hold each other accountable. Back to you, Allegra.
Listen, Miss Ernest, the conversation is so juicy. I'm over here like, yes, because everything you're saying is so true. TC's over here blowing my phone up. I don't know, child. Like, somebody help me out and get her because I'm in the middle of a live. So this is the thing, girl. Listen, I agree with everything that's been said because when I established community for me, it was just exactly what you both were talking about. Like I wanted to be checked on. I wanted someone to hold me accountable. I wanted someone to say, hey, like you're not doing that okay. And that doesn't look good to us. Because that is why we are doing what we do. Like we do it to make sure if you're in business, if you even if you work in a career, what you do is for a purpose for someone else's well-being. I don't care how you look at it. So if we are, so focused on, us and, what we want, what we need, then Miss
Mm-hmm.
Ernest, you're right. Like we kind of fall into that scope of always pretty much like being greedy
Mm-hmm.
or always being a victim.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen it. And for me, and this is why I love community talk, because when we talk about community, we've come from the top down. Like we talked to community leaders. Shout out to the Mom Link and shout out to Hager You Can, because we really did dig into the deep brain of community to say, is it just us? Is it just us, or are we
Mm-hmm.
seeing this across the board? And the truth is, we are seeing it across the board. We know that, especially as women, because we're women into networking, right? Not only do we need to heavily support each other in those very dominant areas of our life, because sometimes I think, I've had this situation, y'all, where I've even been this person. I'm like, girl, it's gonna be okay. It's all
Mm-hmm.
right. No, sometimes people just need the real talk. Like, it's not okay, and you need to do better. And I think that is a very, like, Ariana, can you speak to that a little bit? Because you and I've had some very real serious heart to heart conversations. As a matter of fact, I think out of anything in community, some of the hardest conversations I've had is with my co-founder. And we think sometimes that being community, building community, being a part of relationships means that it's always supposed to be rose petals and daisies and dandelions. And like, listen, I'm learning throughout the fact that life is not going to hand you things, right? People are not going to hand you things either. So you have to work for that understanding through communication,
Mm-hmm.
through, real emotional work, because sometimes the emotions that we have, ladies, the things that we slew out there is really based on the fact of how we feel. It has nothing to do with what's actually real. But Ari, what do you want to say to that? Because I can say a lot about really having critical conversations in community now. Can do you agree with that?
Yes, okay, because again, you need to be in places that push you, that stretch you. So we have, I can say the most difficult conversations have definitely been between me and my sis here, which is my biz bestie. And so you learn a lot, but communication is key. And I think, you know, we weren't necessarily taught healthy communication as children. It's nobody's fault. It's not to point fingers, but you learn as you get older. You were not taught how to healthily communicate. You were really taught how to avoid things that make you
Mm-hmm.
uncomfortable, or because you didn't know how to process emotions. So because I don't know how to process my emotions, then I avoid things that make me feel uncomfortable because I haven't really identified the emotion that I'm feeling and so on and so forth. And
Say
so
that.
I have been thrown into situations. God has so graciously put me into situations that has forced me to deal with my emotions and understand how to communicate those things. Not just my business, my marriage. Like I've been thrusted into these very interesting relationships that challenge my emotions. And so when it comes to community collaboration, partnerships, communication is key, but also understanding that you're developing while you're having these
Mm,
relationships. And so there has been times where I've had to understand this may not feel comfortable. This may not feel good. You may feel high emotional, but you're learning also. And so I think that because Mr. Ernest said something like people have trust issues, and I'll be the first one to tell you when Allegra showed up in my life, I said, "Girl, what do you want from me? I don't understand why you want to be my friend. Like that doesn't make sense. You don't know me. We didn't grow up together because that was my that was my experience was you grew up with people and those were your friends. So a stranger was like, Lord had to help me, y'all. I'm a minister in my church. The Lord had to help me because I was like, Lord, strangers? Come on now.
Stranger
So when she
dating.
came into my space, I was very leery. So as we continue to build this community together and grow, and Allegra is very different from me. I am emotional. Allegra is like very like it's not about emotion, but I learned that I'm developing. And here's the thing. Let me say this: when you get into communities that are real and they are authentic and are true, you have to understand that you're there to also be groomed. And I think for me, I've learned that I'm here to actually get something also, even as a co founder. God didn't put me here just to help her build a community, but it's cultivating me as a leader, as
Mhm.
a co founder, which I've never been, right? Like all of these things are being cultivated. So the communication is key, but also the mindset. I think you have to learn to approach situations with the proper mindset in order to get all that you're supposed to get out of the community. So those conversations that I've had to go through, I know somewhere down the line in my journey, I'm gonna have to have those conversations on the other end. And I'm gonna have to groom somebody else to say, hey, listen, it's hard, it sucks. You may not understand how to process what you're feeling, but it's necessary. And I guarantee you it'll be down the line, you'll need it. So this community and this partnership and being co-founder has taught me some very lucrative, profitable, but powerful skills in communication.
Yes, that is powerful. And I can speak to that. And Miss Ernest, I know you probably have a million and one things to say about this too, because I heard you like snicker a little bit a couple times. This is real. Like this is real stuff that happens and for us, like to Ari's point, because it wasn't easy for me. Like none of this is easy. Like people will be like, "Oh, you got it, honey. I don't have it." Okay, I dropped that bag, and so it's okay to be honest about you not being 100% well, where you want to be. I think that community allows you to be that vulnerable so that you can lay your guard down, right? Because we always got to be strong all the time. And to Ariana's point, like when I met Ariana, I was like, girl, put the guard down. Like it ain't that serious. Ain't nobody really trying to be hugged up under you as a friend right now. I just want to know who you are. Like I just want to know what you do. Like you're hiding. I don't know what you do. I don't know who you are. I don't know how to get to know you, right? So sometimes building relationships comes with that magnitude of thrust in the beginning because we do live in a world where we were hiding in our homes for years, y'all. We live in a different world. It's not the same. So approaching relationships differently has been something I've learned too, Ariana. How to handle those type of new relationships that I met online, not offline, and saying like, are you really who you say you are you really going to live up to what I need from you to be in this relationship, whether it's a friend, whether it's an acquaintance, whether it's a community member, co-founder, right? Every relationship has its own special thing. But for me, I found it so pleasing because when I started the community, I said to Ariana, I whispered in her ear after grooming her for about a year, because God was like, "Yeah, go be her friend, go be cool with her." And I was like, "All right, cool." And I do not throw the word friend out there because I wasn't saying nothing about friend. I was more so just saying, let me get to know her, because sometimes we have to be cautious about how we gear our relationships, right? A friend is somebody that will die for you, honey. They gonna be there for you thick and thin to the very end. Everyone is not equipped to be that. And so sometimes, and I think that's okay, right? Sometimes we have the best relationships when we define it in a way where we know where people line up in our lives so that they can be their best selves, we can be our best selves. And I think that that does take time. So myself and Ariana, we've had our time to have critical conversations and to develop and grow. And now because of that, y'all, pain comes and goes, right? We got over it. Now you can see that no matter what happens, as long as you continue with developing yourself while you're going through these pains, you're going to be okay, and so will everyone else. And we have seen so many wins through that. But Miss Ernest, I want to hear what you have to say. Mentor, this is my mentor, and I know she has a
Well, like we say, where I come from, the child, sit down and let me tell you something. Look, let me tell you something. When you have a friend, like you say, thick and thin, ride or die, young little girl, ride or die chick, when you talk about critical communication within your win circle or even outside of it, right? You have to be grown. And I tell people that all the time. Sometimes when I have a conversation with certain people and they be saying stuff that's like, my brain is like, where you going with that, child? You see what I'm saying? And then I have to just step and say, look, I'm grown. Been there, done that, ain't working for me. You see what I'm saying? You need to step off with that because what you're talking about don't make no sense. And some people get all hyped about something don't make no sense. It don't make sense to them. You see what I'm saying? You don't have an audience. You don't have a following. You don't even have the puppy dog sitting there listening to what you're saying. So this is where I feel if you've grown in love, because everything we do is in love. If you've grown and in love, when we talk to people in a critical conversation out of love, yeah, it might hit them hard. But if they are willing to understand and listen and learn, it could save them in the near future. I have seen individuals that cannot take honest criticism and they just keep marching forward and they spending a whole lot of money, burning bridges, and not even continuing on the path that they are ever going to be financially successful or whatever their drive is. So I think that critical communication is so important with those that are close to you and those that you are newly meeting. Like me, I always tell a story about myself. I grew up in the government. I got 40 something years in the government. Small business contractor. Hey, I'm a woman of all world. I know all this. Nobody can tell me nothing. You see what I'm saying? Because I got this. Because I was raised by a Baptist preacher who taught me, you got this. You know the word of God. We went to vacation Bible school in the summer. We ain't going on trip. We went to vacation Bible school.
oh, poor Lord Jesus. Oh, baby.
Okay. You did not sleep in on Sunday morning. You had communion at 7:30 in the morning. And then you had to go back to 5 o'clock service. And don't be talking about you sick. Because if you're sick, Ariana, if I if you sick, you're not going outside for the rest of the week. So I was trained, ladies. I was trained, okay, how to be that girl. Okay. So I bought that story up to say I was like 30 some years in my career. I was this beast, man. I was this, you got it about, my associates I used to be supervising, man, they had to come with the quickness. They had to get it, hit it. And I would work for this one particular lady who's one of my best, I call her senior friends. And I had like 30 some people I was managing. And I used to be like, where's your work? It's not in the system. Boom, 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 right? Just miss cacao. And she called me in her office. I was her deputy. She called me in her office. She said, Ernest, I need you to sit down. So I'm sitting down, Miss All World, I can sling it here. And I sat down and she said, everybody is not smart as you. I bust out laughing. And she said, I'm not playing with you. And I had to say, wait a minute. She wasn't smiling. And I said, what's that? She said, look, she said, everybody is not smart as you. You have very harsh conversations with people because you want them to rise to the occasion. She said, you have to understand you might be the smartest tool in the toolbox. Somebody might not be that smart tool in that toolbox, but they might be smart tool in another type of toolbox. You see what I'm saying? So she taught me like Johnny on the spot. And I changed that very day because I realized that my conversation, my communication, ladies, was critical and it was harsh. So that's why the people that meet me now, I smile, I'm kind, because I learned the hard lesson that all those years I felt that I was doing critical communication, but I was really, really being abusive to people. The way that I was managing, where I thought it was the right way to go, blah, 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 right? So to go back to the word critical communication for me is we have to do it in love to others. We have to exhibit that we are the true ones. We really care about what you're doing. We can receive critical communication ourselves and don't get all uppity. What's she talking about? China, we talking about, I've been doing this for 100 years. Because we got some people like that. I mean, you can't touch them. They know everything. So I have a new saying that, and you guys can adapt it if you want. I brought this up this whole week. I watched Shirley Chisholm movie. And at the end of her documentation, she said, I know why I'm here. Do we know why we're here? Yes, we do. Do we know what our roles are? Yes, it is. It's to help others, which is one of my affirmations, get to their destiny. How do we do that? Critical communication, in love, guidance, and just having a heart to help individuals see the light. Back to you, Allegra.
That was overly powerful. So, I'm really enjoying this type of conversation because I feel like it's getting deeper into like what we've learned, what we can really share, especially with some of the things that I've learned from Miss Ernest. And you're right, Shirley Chisholm movie. I didn't tell you this, but I saw that movie, I think 2 days before you had mentioned it. And I'm back here remembering because I love the fact that, first of all, I was like, what's her accent? Like, I'm all in the movie, like, wait, where's she from? What's she doing? Like, so and of course, when Miss Ernest said, oh, yeah, and I did more research, of course, right? Because the whole point is to make sure we know what the real person's life was really about, right? Not the movie, but where did all that come from? And when you say, I know why I'm here, for a time, Miss Ernest, I remember I didn't even want to show up in business like I needed to because I didn't know. I felt like I didn't go through enough or I didn't have a purpose, right? You know how people go, oh, you gotta have a purpose. And I was like, well, I ain't been enough in life to have no purpose. Like I ain't been struggling. Y'all been struggling, right? So it does kind of take you through this idea of like, well, why am I here? What am I doing? And be more purposeful about that because we all do have a purpose, every single one of us. And I just really, and I was waiting for Tisa to come in, but don't like she gonna make it, y'all, because I don't know. Well, here she go. Okay. Let's get TC up here because I want her to add to this conversation. And TC, just to bring you up to TC make me laugh. So just to bring you up to par, I want to make sure that you know that we're talking about, really how we are winning in community and how we've used that to leverage us when it comes down to, the small wins, the big wins, right? The journey that we're on and how we're learning through community. That's been what's coming up. And I think it's really important for us to honor uh, some things you were saying, Mr. Ernest, it was hitting so many points. And so I can't really elaborate too much because I want to go around the table, but I do want to say that what came up for me was more so how we are responsible for ourselves. Nobody is responsible for you to do what you know you need to do, right? Same as me. I know I'm responsible for myself. And when you talked about the coach thing, I was cracking up because that's true. And I think sometimes we have, and don't let these other coaches out here, honestly, like don't let them take away all of the work that the coaching industry has done for people. Because in the pandemic, I mean, they really did. We pulled up, right? But a lot of people, I think, became very confused about what coaching really was, and sometimes that can ruin the masses, because there are people that really do need that coaching. There are people that need to know, like, I need to reach that coach. But no matter what name it is, the point is that as long as we're showing up and we're talking about what we do and we're connecting with the right people, that's really the meat of it all. So that's kind of what I got from that. But I feel like, as far as this is concerned, if we take responsibility for ourselves, y'all, no matter a community, it boosts our ability to get more out of what we already want to gain. That's the goal. It's not about, if I get in this community or if I do this community thing, that it's just going to happen for me, right? And that's one of the most delirious things I have seen in my experience in community. And I would love to hear anyone's take on that too, because we talk about the good and the bad here. We're not just talking about all the fluffiness of community. That's great, because we do get the benefits. My business skyrocketed when I got into community. But what I want to also talk about is, there are some things that when we do it wrong, it can leave a bad taste in your mouth, and it can actually hinder you from being able to move forward with community, with the right resources, because we can't do anything in our life alone, you know. So you got to have community in one way, shape, or form. So I'll stop there. But thank you, Miss Ernest. That was amazing share. Ariana, always great. I loved how we're super transparent, and thank you for letting me bring some of these things up, because sometimes it may not be easy to talk about those things. But TC, we were even talking about having critical conversations in community. That's one of the things that I wanted to bring up today, because I think that is at the heart of the matter for me, is when we're honest with each other and we're having real critical conversations, when we're communicating, that direct approach can eliminate any chaos, confusion, indirect approaches, so people can get to their goals quicker, no matter how it hurts our feelings, right? But we at least get to know the truth, and we get the solutions, to the solutions, rather than focusing on the problem. But TZ, introduce yourself first, and I'll feel free to elaborate.
Thank you so much, and good afternoon. Okay, good morning, everyone. It's actually morning. All right. So this topic, I feel like it's very important that we keep talking about it, because the truth is always very uncomfortable, especially when you are at the receiving end. And sometimes we do not understand what it means to be in a community, and so we feel it's maybe a space for maybe validation, and so you need to get this particular um you know a particular kind of outcome. If you are in a certain community, there's so much expectations from everyone else aside from yourself, right? And I feel like same with communication, right? Community is a two-sided thing, so it can never be a success if the both parties are not giving in what they need to give in. What I mean is, what you give is what you receive, right? And sometimes, you give more than you receive. That's the truth, because that's basically what community is. So it's like, I give so much and I give so much, right? I like I be like, give so much, and I'm not expecting anything. And all of us keep giving so much. We realize that we keep receiving so much as well, because then we're giving and everyone is giving. And at the end of the day, we're giving it to somebody, right? And that's basically how it flows. But I feel like there's just so much, unrealistic expectations that come with the word community. Yes, I know I didn't get to introduce myself, but my name is TC All, and I'm a systems implementation strategist. I am always very excited to have this kind of conversation, because for some reason we kind of run away from this conversation, especially as entrepreneurs. Everywhere we go to right now, everyone be like, build a community, build a community, build a community. The question is, what do you exactly define as a community? Right? I didn't get to hear the full gist of the conversation, but I literally saw like Mrs. Innes be like, very intentional with everything she was saying. I'm like, okay, I need to pay attention, but for some reason my internet be like going back and forth, and so I wasn't able to get a handful of it. But going with Allegra's breakdown of what the conversation was, um, personally, I would say that you know community itself is being selfless, right? Not everyone, as much as not everyone will agree with me on this, but not everyone is designed to um own a community, build a community, but everyone is designed to be a part of a community, right? And so it's our ability to want to give our best, right? And also accepting that we are humans and we make mistakes, right? I make mistake, everyone makes mistake, or I think everyone makes mistake. And so it's our ability to accept that, the next person sees our back and get to correct us so that when we show up in our front, we're like, super amazing. Because I feel, where I come from, as a Nigerian, we are always of this mindset that you can't be successful on your own, right? It's the same way you can't grow a child on your own, and so that's why sometimes it can be very difficult being here, and it feels like you're on your own, because you know that you have people around you, chipping in. Sometimes it can be very uncomfortable, right? It can be very inconveniencing, because then people sometimes want to go overboard. But you see, that's why I feel it's also great for us to be in communities um, that have our best interest, right? Communities that we are like-minded. We understand what the goal is. We are all looking in the same space. I have your back, you have my back. I show up for you, you show up for me. And it's not like it's a form of expectation, right? But we just find ourselves doing it because that's what I feel community is about. And to your breakdown, Allegra, most times my opinions might not go well with everyone, which I feel like is fine. But you see, the truth is, you don't have to be in a community that you don't feel comfortable. That's what I would say, right? It's not compulsory. Now, you don't have to force it, because when you force it, kind of bounces back, and then you start to feel overwhelmed to wanting to like do what be who you're not, right? Your community, your network, your space is to get the best out of you, is to bring the best version of you. Now, if wherever you're staying, right, isn't bringing the best version of you, think about it, right? Think about it really well, because you just might be saying you want to take a step back, right? So that's really my thoughts, because at the end of the day, we all need support, we all need community, but we also need to define what community is for us individually. As individuals, as business owners, we also want to define what kind of community we want to find ourselves, what the ingredients are, what the framework would look like, right? So that when you get into a space that doesn't check your list, it's high time for you to take a step back. So, yeah, that's what I have to say.
That's really, I mean, I love what you have to say, TC, and it's very it's simplistic, right? It's like, listen, like show up for yourself, show up for others, mutually respect each other, make sure that you're not there to take advantage, and you're gonna be all right, right? I think that also it takes a level of understanding what discomfort is, right? Because I want to say something here, and as we're wrapping up, so y'all make sure you follow everyone here. If you're listening here on the replay, this will be on all of our WIN channels, because we have amazing women here that have empowered our community members. We want you to be empowered as well. One of the biggest things I know is that when you get into community, sometimes it can feel uncomfortable already, right? Like it's like already like, especially to Ariana's point, she was like, I don't like people like that. Like I like my friends, we're cool, we grew up together, but all you new people, no new friends. And I think when we have this mindset around that, we have to adjust. Like to Ariana's point, we have to adjust our mindset around what that looks like. Community to me puts your network on fire. Like it literally is like putting gas to a flame. Because when you have like your network equals your net worth, right? All these conversations we have about network, it's great. But if you're not going anywhere to network, if you're not doing anything, but what I've seen in our community is that we do that, Ariana. We do. Like, we'll be so nosy in your stuff that we'll be like, I don't ever see you. Like, what's up? Like, I mean, I get it. You said that, but it just don't look like it. And I think that can feel very uncomfortable because who are you to check me, right? Like, who are you to check me? But who are you not? Because at the end of the day, if I have a sister, a friend, of someone that loves me, I would expect you to make sure that if you see something that I'm not seeing, that I'm not aware of, that you be those eyes for me. And I think that comes from a heartfelt place, right? And so number one, be healed. Number two, be ready to shift your mindset. All right. And if you're not ready in those places yet, just be aware. Just be aware. I'm not healed yet. Like even Ariana said, I knew I had some toxic traits. I just had to work through them. And guess what? God sends people her way that constantly are like, I got you, I got you. It's okay. We're going to work through this, right? So I think that if we show up intentionally with that mindset, because sometimes if we're so shy that we don't actually enter community because of the way it may feel, it's going to stop your progress. It's going to stop your growth. It's going to stump you. And a lot of times we get very frustrated because we're like, dang, it's 10 years later and I'm still where I'm at. Being connected to community is like putting your network on fire. And for this last year, and I'll end with this, I have literally seen it's so overwhelming to the point where I had to stop and say, wait, let me collect some things and let me just really be intentional, because it's like, even if you get $1 million, if you're not intentional about budgeting that stuff, that thing gonna go. You're not gonna be able to manage it. And so you want to manage your network, you want to manage your relationships, you want to manage, people that, like we call like that low hanging fruit, right? People that are just ready to connect, but we just are not paying attention to that. So those are intentions behind community. And I would love to hear from everyone else about that as well. Ari, go ahead.
I'm like cracking up like, baby, when I tell you he's sending people, he's sending people. Okay. But what I will say is that something TC said that I like is, find what you need, but also be honest about what you need. So if you're looking for a community, I watch people say, "Oh, I want this, I want that," but they not counting the cost of it and they're not being honest about it. So just be honest about what you want. What I can't say about the Win community is we gonna be here and we watch, we look, we pay attention. Back in the beginning, like you tell people, we watch y'all, so you can't come to our stages and try to tell us what you is or is not doing because we see it. But it's because I think people have to understand this. When you really find people who love to see people win, when you really get attached to somewhere that really desires to see you win with no strings attached, it's a whole different ballgame. It's gonna come with tough conversations. It's gonna come with love. It's gonna come with compassion. It's gonna come with checking on you, being there. We've been there for some of our members' toughest times they've been going through. We've had prayer meetings just to help them get through emotionally and spiritually. Like, so it's not just a one-sided. And I think what I love about this community is it is a holistic community. We want to see you win in every aspect. And sometimes, like Miss Ernie said, that winning comes with a tough conversation, but sometimes it comes with love, and sometimes it comes with prayer, and sometimes it comes with, okay, how can we support you? What you need? You need us to show up for you? Tell us the time. We're gonna be there, and we're gonna tell everybody else we need to be here to support this person. And I think because people haven't found community like that before, like for me, I have found community like that in my family. Yes, my family, we ride or die. Like my family gonna hold me down. I don't have this whole story of like, oh, my family don't support me. Baby, my family support me 10 toes deep, but I didn't necessarily have that externally. So it's one thing to know it from birth, from blood, but another thing to learn is that there's actually people out there who have that same love for you and can have that same love for you. And so I think sometimes when people come in our community, it is like, whoa, because you don't know this kind of love. But that's real love. That's real concern. This is a community full of women who have a real heart to help you. Like, we really want to see you win. And when you really want to see somebody win, I'll end with this. My kids, I'm going to discipline them because I want to see them win. I'm going to steer them in the right direction. That may come with tough conversations. That may come with just holding you. That may, whatever it comes with, because I really want to see you win. So, to TC's point, find this, the communities you get a part of, you need to know, and you need to have a list of what do you want out of that community. And if it's not giving you what you want, you need to leave. You need to leave, because why waste your time? We don't control time. We don't know the hour, the day, the moment, the second. So don't waste your time in spaces that are not feeding you and that are not helping you grow. And baby, this community, God knows, helped me grow through some stuff. And that's it. That's my closing thought.
Yeah, Ariana was up on the stage by herself. Just listen, when you have 50 people sitting in a room just listening to you and ain't nobody by your side, I'm like, well, how's she handling all this? This is interesting. This is nice. But come to find out that sometimes we're very strong, right? We're very strong, and we tend to handle a lot more than we want over time. And so having people like I met Ariana, and Ariana, to your point, I think that we're all growing through this thing. And it's such a beautiful thing when you're able to see us come together, and to Ariana's point, holistically. And I can't wait for Miss Ernest to share too, because she's brought a whole nother avenue. But we have seen people come to this community. We have seen people talk about things from finance to employment, right? To making sure you have your biblical principles in place, to making sure that you can do business with the federal government. To listen, I can go down the line. But I just want to highlight that some of these areas where we say, oh, I'm so frustrated and I don't have anyone to give me advice and I don't know who to talk to. Let me tell you, there are open doors right in front of you, and you just have to walk through. So, Miss Ernest, I'm gonna pass it over.
Thank you, ma'am. So for me, here go Maya Angelou, my favorite. Okay. We have to be proficient in our communications within our community. It's number one. Number two, we have to communicate in love within our community. Number three, we have to know how to communicate the end game. So for me, when women into networking, it means that we are constant, we are valued, and we advance to success. Thank you.
Wait, oh, okay. I almost got. I love that. Thank you so much, Miss Ernest. And short and powerful words. And we definitely love Maya Angelou here. And thank you for all the amazing women that come before us and celebrated them on Women's History Month. But yes, Miss Ernest definitely gives us the Maya Angelou vibes. And so we thank you for always sharing your stories. And those are amazing. TC, I want to hear from you. Anything to add before we get out of here? Got 5 minutes left. Wow, look at that.
Yeah. So for me, I need honest people who would tell me and be very honest with me, watch my back, tell me when I'm wrong, tell me when I'm right. Now, some people might feel like that's uncomfortable, but that's what I want, right? And I want that because the truth is, it's just me, my brain, and God, right? And if you're watching this, you need to understand that God has put certain people in your lives to see you through those times. Now, as much as we want to tell ourselves that miracles happen, which they do, the truth is God is not going to come down from heaven to do anything for you. He's literally going to use people, right? He's going to use people in communities. He's going to use people that have your best interests at heart. Is going to, when he says he's going to tell you something, most times it's being told by people around you, right? When he says he's going to bless you, he's going to use people to bless you. But you want to be in spaces where those people can see you, so that when he ministers to those people, they can find you. They're not going to come to your door and be like, right? you you want to show up, right? You want to be in those spaces. And I remember, when I was starting to get my entire self together, I knew that I can't do it on my own. In as much as, I want to tell myself that I can. I know that, if I need blessings, if I need opportunities, I need to go where I can find them. And that's basically what communities are meant for. Now, talking about the WIN community, I will tell you the truth, Allegra, right? I have been with, or have been in communities. So, right? I used to I call myself the queen of the digital space, because you see, the digital space is basically where my entire business is. For the past 9 years, I've built my entire business. So this space, I know, this space, I'm comfortable, this space is me. And I've been in a good number of communities, and I know that the WIN is different, but you also want to make it different for you, right? Because once I'm done here, some people would come and be like, oh, but TC said this. No, TC is saying this because TC has opened herself up for support. Now you want to come out, okay, and tell us you are available, you are in the group, you are in the community, you are a member. Some people are members in the community. We don't even know them, right? Now, as much as we want to tell you that we see you, I can't see you. You need to come up, like, right? So you need to tell us that you are here, so that we can see you, so that we can give you the support, so that we can give you the blessings, so that we can explain to you, so that people like Allegra can literally call you out. Okay? Allegra does that a lot. But it's good, okay, because I like it. I like it when, people reach out to me to say, oh no, TC, you're not doing this well, right? TC, you need to do this like this. Oh, TC, how are you about to do this? I see this client of yours. Are you sure? Check her and all of that. I like it, right? Because it makes me feel like, I can go far. Because when you have people like that, it builds your confidence, because as you move, there are people that are watching your back, so that you don't fall. Now, even if you fall, and when you fall, there's still hands under, waiting to assist you to get up, right? And I feel like everybody needs to be in spaces like that, or better still, you need to be in spaces like that. So that's how I'm going to end.
Listen, I had to save my phone from dropping. Thank you, TC. That was powerful. I think all the shares, of course, are powerful. It is 12 o'clock on the dot, and I want to make sure that we're honoring your time. So as we get out of this live, just final words for me. I think that community has always been powerful, but the one common denominator here is that I think we're a little crazy, y'all. Is that we like to get checked. Okay. We all like to be held accountable to what we say we're going to do. And I think that that is a very strong thing, right? Because a lot of times we don't get that in everywhere, right? A lot of times we're really just being pleased like, oh, you're doing such a great job. Like, that was not good. So in this community, we do believe in one of our core values is authenticity. So we do believe in that. We want to make sure that if you are a part of that mythology, that we want you to join us in what we're doing, be a part of what our co-founder, our leader in the UK, TC, Miss Ernest, our corporate partner, is doing. We show up at these roundtables every single month to make sure that we talk about these real inside scoops about community. This is not just a regular everyday chat. So if you feel inclined to come and share your views, and you're like, just like TC said, I've been hiding, right? Like, just like I've talked to people and they're like, oh, I've been following you for 2 years, Allegra. And I'm like, where? I don't know you yet, right? But if we get to know you, like if you come on the the stages on Clubhouse and LinkedIn and speak to us. If you show up even in our DMs and say hi, this is what I do. I just wanted to get to know you more. Building relationships is not about just saying, oh, I posted somewhere, or, I'm here, right? Walking in the door does not make you seen. What makes you seen and heard is when you show up for yourself in a way where people can pay attention. We want to teach you how to do that. And we have some amazing, amazing ways to do that, especially this month on Pathways to Prosperity. We have a Women's Prosperity Month that we're doing. Stay tuned for all of that amazing information in the Facebook group. All right. Anything else y'all have before we leave? Get out of here? Yes? No? Roundtable over? Roundtable is done. Y'all have an amazing day. Thank y'all. See you later. Bye.